Right, we're in a downstairs WC and we're going to investigate why this cistern is making a strange noise. Right, so what we're going to do is turn the water supply off, I think, and drain this cistern and see what the fault is. Now, luckily the plumber who put this surface pipe work in has provided an isolating valve, which with a bit of luck that will still work, so that when we flush the toilet, interestingly it's not making that drumming noise now, but that may be because we've taken the top off. Right, I think what we're going to need to do is probably replace this valve here and the ball float assembly. I'm not quite sure what's causing this vibration, but this is the only thing that it can be. The water supply is on the low pressure, so we shouldn't be having issues there. So the first thing we need to do is bail out the existing water in the bottom of the cistern that hasn't flushed away, so that when we disconnect the whole system from the pan, we don't get half a gallon of water around our ankles. So to get the sponge in here, we're going to have to take this off. So make sure you have actually got your water supply isolated before you go taking this sort of stuff to bits. So there's the ball valve off. Now we can just use our sponge. So get this water out. Right, there we are. And so we can now get underneath the pan and underneath the cistern and disconnect those plastic bolts. But firstly, we've got a couple of screws holding the cistern onto the wall here. That one's just wobbly as hell. Right, so we're going to unscrew these two. There's one of these on each side. Not very easy to film this and do the job. So there's two of these bolts, plastic. We're going to undo that, and hopefully that will, and this overflow, and that will start us on our way to disconnecting the cistern from the pan. And on this other side, obviously we've got the water supply in, which we will need to disconnect, so that that enables us to take the cistern away from the pan. Using our big old monkey grips, get onto this water pipe and just release that. Cool, that was a bit slack. Right, we're going to use a piece of towel here to help soak up any unexpected spills. Now I've got a bit of pink towel there. Obviously if you've got a different colour towel, it'll probably be just as useful. Green might be okay, or even blue stripes. So we'll just loosen this again and just see how much water comes out. I don't think there will be a great deal, but plumbing always has a way of surprising you. There we are. So that's just a little bit of water remaining in the pipe there. Oh, blige. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Oh, see what we forgot to do. Okay. This is a DIY job, don't forget, guys. Before you all start running to your keyboards. Because what I forgot to do was undo the overflow pipe. There we are. There's quite a few connections, so there's water in, overflow out, and the flush to the pan. This has been cleverly done. Rather than use a bend, the plumber has heated this plastic pipe up and just kinked it. Now it is only supposed to be an overflow pipe, which is meant to be in an emergency sort of situation. There we are, that's loose now. So probably the pipe being kinked like that is not going to cause a major issue until you find out when you actually get an overflow. So we should now be able to lift the whole cistern off the pan. There we are. I'm going to disconnect the water supply in and take this thing off here, which, yuck. That thing is pretty gooey and crap, as you can see. Let's see, I might just about do that. Yeah, so that's the inlet supply. That's that. No. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay. Right. Now that just gets disconnected from the handle like that, and there's our valve. The whole thing is out. Now who knows if there's anything wrong with it or not, I don't. But we'll go down to the plumbing shop and see what they think. Right, I'm just back from the plumbing shop and I've been told that there's nothing can go wrong with this gizmo here. So we don't need to replace that. I was issued with a fresh rubber washer to go in there. We've got a fresh donut which is going to go there, but apparently they believe there's probably air in the system, and that's what's causing the vibrations and the hideous noise which occurs when the toilet's flushed. So we're going to put all this back together now. Because we don't have rehearsals on this show, we're going to just put it back together, see if we can do that without incurring any leaks, and then we'll see how we get on. I've drilled out the holes in the wall and put fresh raw plugs in, so we'll put this back together now. So this rubber bit is going to go on there, obviously. That's that on. We're going to feed that back inside the cistern after we've hooked up the flushing handle. Like that. Poke that back through the hole. Make sure that's correctly done. We will use the big back nut. And there, obviously it's being sealed from inside. So basically reverse process of what we've done already. This is the difference between a do-it-yourself job and hiring a professional in. You have to do the correct diagnosis in the first place. And we believe we have not done that. Right, let's tighten that up, hand tight. And then perhaps give it a tiny little nip up with the big old grips. That's enough. Right, now before I put this bit back in, I'm going to actually put the donut on the bottom of the outlet here, and the fixings to go onto the wall, one of the screws is actually behind this thing, so we will screw it to the wall first, and then we'll put the rising inlet on second. Right, the washer goes on first, and then the back nut. So when we've got these on both sides, that actually draws the cistern down onto the pan and compresses the donut, which forms a nice watertight seal. That's the plan. Right, I'll just do the other side. Right, I've screwed those back on the wall after re-drilling out the holes. That's nice and firm. So we can now connect up the water supply. When you're close to tears, remember, one day it'll all be over. One day we're gonna get so high, 'cause we are gonna be forever, you and me. Don't want to overdo that. So how did this work? Something like that, I think. There we are. Right. Just finger tight. So that the ball will rise okay. As far as I can see, guys, that should all be back together in a watertight fashion. All that's left to do is fill the thing back up with water. Shall we leave the, I think we'll leave the filming going, just in case it all goes completely wrong. At least we'll all get a laugh out of it. Right, bye. Quick look under it. Oh yeah, okay. Okay guys, this is all live. Yeah, we definitely we got a leak. We got a leak underneath here. One day we're gonna get so high. Now somebody hasn't tightened that up properly underneath there. Okay, I'll just stop recording for a minute till we see what's going on. Well, like I said guys, we don't do rehearsals around here, and so we had a little bit of a leak there. Well, luckily we've got a quarry tile floor, but the obvious reason we had a leak was because Nobby forgot to put the back nut on to hold the water supply coming in, and of course that meant there was no seal and the water was able to escape. So perhaps we should have another go at that. What do you think? When you flush the toilet, obviously the water's going to come steaming down through the cistern, through the donut which is in there, into the pan. So this joint in here is obviously very crucial, so stand by. Oh yeah, there is a drip, look at that. See that? Okay guys, back to the drawing board. Okay, well we'll keep filming because this is turning out to be a learning process, and if we can save somebody making the same mistakes, well that'll be a job well worth doing. These manky old plastic bolts, let's face it, they have seen better days, and this rubber washer has probably had its day. So I've been back to the plumbing shop. We've now been given these metal bolts. It's a kit. It has various components with plastic washers, wing nuts, etc. So that's where we believe the leak was coming from. It was coming from these bolts, which obviously penetrate through the cistern, so they have to make a watertight seal. So here we go, we're going to put this back together and see how we get on this time. Turn that off a minute and see what's going on down below. Looks alright at this stage. Right, the cistern has filled up nicely, so we just need to test the flushing and make sure this overflow pipe is actually tightened up and tight. Now we'll flush and see what happens, shall we? Okay guys, well thanks very much for watching. I'm afraid we've had one or two cock-ups today, so what we've learned here is, first of all, try and diagnose your problem immediately instead of fixing the wrong thing. The guys down at the plumbing shop who are experts, well at least that's what he told me, suggested that there's just air in the pipes and that's what's causing the vibration and the drumming sound. It's nothing to do with the cistern. Anyway, we've had that all to bits and put it all back together, had a few leaks. So the main thing to remember here is diagnose your problem. Be aware that with DIY plumbing you can get a lot of water where you don't want it. And lastly, of course, these jobs take a hell of a lot longer than you anticipate, so it's a good idea to start in the morning, not halfway through the day. Anyway, thanks for watching. Perhaps you'll be kind enough to press a subscribe button, get me up the rankings a bit, and then you'll be able to be notified when I'm about to undertake yet another DIY job. Disaster sometimes, mostly it goes okay. Thanks for watching, bye.